Every IRS examination follows the same basic playbook, but it does not always start the same way. The format the IRS chooses for your examination tells you a lot about what is at stake, and once that examination begins, it moves through a structured, predictable process. Knowing both in advance is what lets you manage the audit instead of just reacting to it. Start with the format. The IRS examines returns in 5 distinct ways, and each one carries a different scope and a different level of risk. Understanding which type you are facing is the first thing your representative needs to know. At one end is the correspondence audit, a letter asking about a single line item. At the other end is the field audit, where an agent examines your business in person. In between sit the office audit, the partnership-level audit under the Bipartisan Budget Act, and the payroll audit. Each one calls for a different response strategy. The correspondence audit is the most limited examination the IRS runs. It arrives as a letter asking for documents on one specific line item, so the right move is to answer precisely and not volunteer anything more. The field audit sits at the opposite end. An agent comes to the business itself to examine books, records, and operations, typically because the business is complex or the dollar amounts are large, and that calls for experienced tax counsel from the very first contact. The office audit sits between those two extremes. Here, the taxpayer meets an IRS agent in person at an IRS office, and typically more issues get examined than in a simple correspondence audit. The preparation matters just as much as the meeting itself. 2 more formats round out the list. Under the Bipartisan Budget Act, a partnership return is audited at the entity level, and the IRS can collect the tax directly from the partnership itself. The partnership representative has full authority to bind every partner, so partnerships need to think carefully about electing into or out of these rules. Separately, a payroll audit examines Form 941 and Form 940 filings and employment tax compliance overall. It is often triggered by an employee complaint or a worker classification dispute, and it can expand into a full income tax examination. Across every one of these formats, one habit protects you more than any other. Answer exactly what is asked, in writing where possible, and resist the urge to explain more than the question calls for. That discipline matters just as much in a field audit as it does in a simple correspondence letter. Now shift from the format of the audit to what actually happens once it begins. Every examination, regardless of type, moves through the same structured process. Understanding each stage in advance is what lets you and your representative manage the audit instead of being managed by it. The process opens with initial contact, a notice or a call, and the first rule is simple: never respond without a representative present. Engage a CPA, a certified public accountant, an EA, an enrolled agent, or a tax attorney immediately. Next comes the information document request, or IDR, and the discipline here mirrors the correspondence audit. Respond with only what is requested, precisely and completely, and meet the deadline or ask for an extension. Then the agent moves into document review and interviews, which means preparing every interviewee in advance and attending each interview alongside the taxpayer. Stage 4 is when the agent presents proposed adjustments. Review the position carefully, provide legal and factual responses, agree with what is correct, and dispute what is not with documentation to back it up. Stage 5 is the 30-day letter, arriving together with the Revenue Agent's Report, or RAR, and it gives exactly 30 days to request appeals. If appeals does not resolve the case, Stage 6 is the 90-day letter, the statutory notice of deficiency, and a tax court petition has to be filed within those 90 days or the deficiency is assessed automatically. The 30-day letter and the 90-day letter look similar on paper, but they sit at completely different points in the process. The 30-day letter is an invitation. Request appeals and the case can still resolve without ever reaching court. The 90-day letter is a deadline with teeth. Miss it, and the proposed deficiency becomes assessed automatically, with no further right to petition tax court. If there is one moment in this entire process worth underlining, it is the 30-day letter. Requesting appeals for any disputed item at that point keeps the door open to a resolution well short of tax court. Notice how much of the outcome depends on conduct, not just facts. Bringing in a representative at the very first contact, answering every IDR with precision, preparing each interview participant, and treating the 30-day letter as a genuine decision point. These habits apply no matter which of the 5 examination types you are facing. 5 examination types, one structured 6-stage process behind every one of them. Identify the format early, respond precisely at every stage, and treat the 30-day letter as the decision that it is. Get those things right, and you are managing the audit on your own terms.